Hey guys.
Alright, so I just wanted to come in and do a bit of a life update. A little bit of my timeline because those videos I just posted were from about 2 to 2.5 years ago, depending on the order. I try to keep true to the timeline, so I built my truck first and then I did my Jetta after that. So, a little bit of update. I built both of those in Wisconsin. I'm no longer in Wisconsin. I moved to Virginia about 1.5 years ago, I believe now. Yeah, I just couldn't do the winters anymore. I'm from Wisconsin and I did a road trip from Wisconsin to Virginia probably about 3 years ago because I had lived out here before and I had gone to meet up with what was my friend at the time but is now my girlfriend that I hadn't seen since we were in like 8th grade. So I made the trip out here. She decided to move back with me to Wisconsin, and she didn't want to be there anymore either. So we decided to leave Wisconsin and come back to Virginia. It's kind of where my heart always was. I always felt like I belonged here. It feels a lot better now that I'm here because it just feels like a part of me was missing being away, and I never really wanted to leave in the first place. So I ended up moving back. I drove my truck and a U-Haul trailer, and I also made another trip to bring my girlfriend and our cats out. My truck is the only project that remains from my original group. So when I first started building everything, I had my truck, which I had lowered. I had my Jetta, which I had a black Jetta originally, and I crashed that when I lived in Texas. Moved back to Wisconsin and put all the parts from the car in Texas onto the car in Wisconsin, my Jetta. And then I also had a 1998 Dodge Ram pickup. It was just a beater for the winter time, and I would have loved to kept that truck. I think it just needed a little bit of love and it would have been fine. But yeah, my truck is the only one that remains. Since I moved out here, I picked up a Passat, I fixed that, and that was my daily for a little while. And then, yeah, I just sold that. I went to go get my grandpa who passed away. His truck was just sitting up north, so I went and got that. That's a new addition to the car family. I got another video for that one as well, me going to pick it up. I've just gotten so wrapped up in life that I didn't even continue or give the due diligence of trying to edit those videos or do anything with that. I'm trying to take the time now to do some of the things that I always talked about. I just started my own business about 4 months ago. I do mobile repairs. That was something I always wanted to do but never really found the strength within myself to actually pursue it. And then, yeah, I got the chance to finally edit all my videos. 2 videos I have more. There's a couple more I want to post, at least from a little bit of time ago. But yeah, it's been a trip, man. I've been all over the place, and I've done so many cross-country trips since even like the last one I took. I've driven to and from Wisconsin these past 2 years probably 5 times. I also took a trip to Texas, which included in stopping in Arkansas and Tennessee, and I did a big trip like that. Since I've lived in Texas, I've driven across the country probably upwards of the 20 times in the past 4 years. So yeah, it's been a trip. I've done a lot of driving. I've had a lot of experience, and I do love driving, but as I referenced in another one of my videos, it's more so about the journey. It takes all the fun out of it when you're just going to your destination. You know, you're just speed running through your road trip, not taking time to see the sights, and I got real exhausted from doing it just straight through. I did a lot of just cannonball run type road trips, and man, it is exhausting. I guess some of the things moving forward, I'd love to just keep cranking on my business, and I'd really like to make something of YouTube as well. I think I have the personality for it. I do some pretty cool stuff. I've had some pretty cool jobs, so I guess that can lead into me and my work history. So I've done dealerships, independent shops, off-road shops. I've done junkyards. I've done mobile detailing for a company, and then I'm doing my own thing. Across the board, like I've almost covered everything except body and paint, which I even worked in a warehouse when I was trained to paint a little bit. The most experience I've gotten, and this can be for anybody, if you're getting into the trade of working with cars, I highly suggest going and joining up with like a junkyard. Like I know there's some big names, and I've worked for some of those big names, and I've even worked for the little guy too. There is nothing like the experience I've picked up from those junkyards. And the last one I was at was a very big company. I don't want to name drop and have any issues come up like that, but I was dismantling 3 to 4 cars a day. That means taking the engine out, taking the brake lines out, cooling lines, everything by the book, by the procedure. But I was doing 3 to 4 cars a day, dropping them out. It didn't matter if it was a BMW, didn't matter if it was a truck, didn't matter if it was a Kia, Honda, you know, whatever the case was, you know. Some of the new cars would come in and we'd have to pull all the doors. We'd have to pull some of the electrical components. Just the act of taking the parts off and knowing how to do it is a big factor when it comes to working on cars. Now, you get into the little bit more of the diagnosis. Sometimes I lack in that, unfortunately, just because I haven't really seen everything. I'm only 24 years old. I haven't seen every car that's going to come across. I haven't seen that every single one of this brand, this problem is going to happen. I just don't know that information yet, which I see, like, as I work more with my own business, I find those things coming up often where it's like, okay, this car is pretty common to have this problem. This car is pretty common to have this problem. You just gotta learn, and I'm 100% self-taught or job taught. I've gone to multiple jobs and just been like, hey, listen, I don't know everything, but I'm willing to learn, and I show up and I learn as much as I can. And that's the little bit of tidbit advice I have for anybody going into the automotive, because it's a very hard industry right now, especially with, I don't feel like the techs are paid fair enough personally, especially some of the situations I was in. It was a little rough of me being a 20-year-old or 19-year-old paying all my bills, and somebody that doesn't have to pay any bills is making more than me, which I understand, you know, it comes with experience, but I was getting drastically underpaid. So it's a hard industry to get into. You got to really love it, because it'll take the love right out of it for you if you're not careful. But yeah, some of the things leading into the future, like I said, I'd love to make something of myself. I got to do the due diligence. I've always wanted to start my own business, and I always thought I was capable of doing some sort of content creation. I think I was just too wrapped up with thinking what other people thought of me, and even though they may not have even felt that way about me, but I was thinking about it. I've kind of gotten myself out of that, where it's like I don't really care what people think of me. I think that's a big thing at growing up. Is like you got these people that, at least growing up, it's you go by their rules, their book, and then you get out into the real world and you're like, oh, I can kind of make my own rules and play by my own book. But the people that told you that to begin with aren't going to agree with that. So you got to just be okay with that, and be okay with listening to yourself and your own intuition, because sometimes that little voice in the back of your head is telling you exactly what you need to do. And I understand sometimes it can be hard to listen to that voice, especially if you're in a situation where you don't have much money. You need to go and get a job and just make some sacrifices to be able to provide. But there's always something nagging you in the back of your head. And I mean, I'm a big believer in, if you want it, you got to get it. You got to put the effort in to really go out of your way and make it happen. Big thing that I was focusing on was the money. And man, money is important, but how much though? I think it's more for me about the freedom of having the opportunity to do as I please. And I run into a lot of issues with some of the older mechanics of, I come up with these great ideas and they don't really want to pursue them because I'm just a young kid. What do I know? But I was thinking earlier, it's like the people that say that, like, what do you know? You're just a young kid. Are the people that raised us, and they told us everything. They were telling us everything. So we kind of learned from it early, and now we're coming into the real world wanting to make some change, and sometimes it's hard to give up that control. And I understand, because I usually tend to leave if my ideas aren't taken accounted for, because I've learned a lot, and I've done a lot of things, had a lot of experiences that have taught me otherwise. So I just like what I'm listening to. So some of the things going on with the future, I'd love to really get some more projects going. This one specifically, I've got some really good ideas for what I can do with my truck here, because it's been with me since I graduated high school. I'm not getting rid of this one, unfortunately. I have a lot of people ask me if I'm gonna sell it, and I say no. Even if I needed the money, I don't know if I would, because I love this truck. This truck's moved me across the country twice. gone multiple cross-country trips. I beat on it daily. And it takes it. I need to do some work on it for sure, but it takes it every single day. I beat on this thing. This is my daily right now. So yeah, well, I just wanted to check in with a little life update. I got some big things for the future. Granted that everything works out well. Yeah, I will check in with you guys in the next little video. We'll see what I decide to put out next. And yeah, I will talk to you guys later.